Most people think OpenAI's business is ChatGPT, and honestly, that's what I thought too. ChatGPT is the product that changed everything. It's the reason hundreds of millions of people suddenly started paying attention to artificial intelligence. Today, more than 900 million people use it every single week to write code, to analyze documents, to get answers, and from the outside, it still looks like OpenAI is building a chatbot. But I think we're starting to misunderstand what's actually happening, because if you look closely at OpenAI's recent launches, a strange pattern appears. A pattern that suggests ChatGPT is no longer the destination, it's becoming the entry point. And if that's true, then OpenAI isn't building a chatbot company anymore. It's building something much bigger. To understand what's happening, we need to stop looking at ChatGPT and start looking at everything around it. A few years ago, AI products were surprisingly simple. You asked a question, the model generated an answer. That was it. But look at where the industry is moving now. Operator can interact with websites. Deep research can perform multi-step investigations. Coding agents can build software. Memory allows AI systems to remember context over time. MCP allows AI systems to connect with external tools. Notice what's happening. The goal is no longer, give me information. The goal is, help me accomplish something. That's a completely different category of product. A chatbot gives you answers, an agent helps produce outcomes, and once that shift happens, everything changes. So here's the interesting question. If AI is moving beyond answering questions, what does the company behind it become? Think about Microsoft. Windows started as a product. Eventually it became a platform. Think about Apple. The iPhone started as a device. Eventually it became an ecosystem. Think about Amazon. Most people forget that Amazon started as an online bookstore. Today it's infrastructure, cloud computing, logistics, payments. Entire industries exist on top of Amazon. So what happens if OpenAI follows the same path? What if ChatGPT isn't the product? What if ChatGPT is the front door and everything else is what matters? Now let's zoom out, because this is where it gets interesting. Look at what OpenAI has actually been shipping. Not one product, layers of a system. There's the interface, ChatGPT, where 900 million people already show up every week. There are the workers, operator, deep research, codex, agents that don't just answer, they act. And there's the platform underneath, the API, the agents, SDK, enterprise tools. Now here's the part most people miss. Developers can already build apps that run inside ChatGPT itself. Think about that. ChatGPT is starting to look less like an app and more like an operating system for AI work. And the business is already bending that way. Enterprise is now more than 40% of OpenAI's revenue, on track to match consumer by the end of this year. More than 9 million people pay to use it for work, and 92% of the Fortune 500 are already inside. Individually, these look like separate launches, but together they're one strategy. Win the interface, then build the platform. This is the part I think most engineers should pay attention to, because many people are still preparing for the previous era of AI, the chatbot era, prompt engineering, single model applications, simple wrappers around LLMs. But the industry is already moving further toward agent systems, tool calling, open standards like MCP, now backed across the whole industry, evaluation frameworks, orchestration, memory systems, production, AI architectures. The value is shifting away from asking intelligent questions and toward building intelligent systems. In other words, the opportunity isn't just creating intelligence anymore. It's creating systems that can use intelligence. That's where many of the most valuable AI engineering jobs are heading. Of course, None of this means ChatGPT is going away. In fact, it may become even more important, but its role is changing. The biggest mistake people make is assuming OpenAI is still building a chatbot company. Because when you look at the direction of the industry, ChatGPT starts to feel less like the product and more like the front door, the beginning of a much larger ecosystem. And if that trend continues, the winners in AI won't necessarily be the companies with the smartest chatbot. They'll be the companies that build the most useful platform around it. I hope you enjoyed it today. In this channel, I always keep you updated about the AI news that really matters from the perspective of someone who builds real AI systems. If you like it, subscribe and see you in the next video.